many of our Christians have what I call the goo-goo syndrome. Good government. They want everybody to vote. I don't want everybody to vote. Elections are not won by a majority of people. They never have been from the beginning of our country, and they are not now. As a matter of fact, our leverage in the elections, quite candidly, goes up as the voting populace goes down.
All right. So if you think, or you've been one of those sitting on the sidelines saying, oh, I'm going to vote the couch, I'm going to not show up, I'm going to show them, I want to show you why you sitting out is not a protest. It's not. It's a gift wrapped in a bow, hand delivered to the people who already have power, and they are counting on you to keep it going. And let me introduce myself real quick in case you don't know. I'm not just talking. I'm Kellen, Kash, COLEMAN, and I studied this, and I have a bachelor's degree in politics. I have not just been active in the class with strategy and leverage and power moves. I've actually interned on the Hill. I've interned for Yvette D. Clarke. I've worked campaigns, local. I've sat in rooms where decisions got made, and I've seen firsthand who was in those rooms and who wasn't. And I can tell you, we rarely are in those rooms, and when it is, it's the same old players, and it's usually over 50. So when people say, oh man, the young people need to show up, they definitely do. And some of these rooms, I mean, they're free to go in, and the people in the rooms are the one deciding things that happen. So I need you to feel this, because that footage I just played you while I work my microphone was from 1980. And his name, Mr. Paul W. Don't even want to say his name because he's a co-founder of the Heritage Foundation. He's advisor to the Christian Coalition. That's in quotes for anybody who may be listening and not seeing. One of the architects of the modern conservative movement. And he said it plainly in a room full of allies on the record. We don't want everybody to vote. Participation going up is not in our interest. That was not a slip. That was really a key. Major key alert. That was not a hot mic moment. That man built institutions that are still running today, shaping courts, shaping policy, shaping the country. And he told you exactly what the strategy was 40 some years ago out loud. You haven't read anything by Dr. Claude Anderson in detail, who actually worked and really managed, campaigns. You haven't got any real understanding outside of what you see a lot of times on YouTube. So I want to give you something, because so when your cousins say, my vote doesn't matter, I need you to understand something. That idea didn't come from nowhere. That idea was engineered. It was planted, watered, fertilized, and grown specifically for communities like yours. And it ain't just the black community. And I said ain't because that's what you need to hear. Because political apathy is a weapon, and somebody handed it to you and told you it was wisdom. They also told you, your ancestors back in the day, don't leave that plantation. It's good old white folks over here. Don't leave. It's good in the house. It's good in the field. But let me give you a real world picture. Flint, Michigan. People were drinking poison water for over a year, while officials knew. They knew it. You know what? Change? Not the president, not Congress.
You've tried it your way, but you're still in debt. Or maybe you're doing okay, but want to invest smarter, grow faster. MillionaireX.ai gives you real step-by-step strategies to ditch debt or stack wealth. Stop dreaming and start planning. Visit MillionaireX.ai today. I want you to be the next millionaire next door.
But Not the president, not Congress, local pressure, local organizing, people showing up to the city council meetings, putting names on record, forcing accountability at the municipal level. Now flip it. In 1996, a congresswoman in New York won her primary with 23% of the vote. 23%. 7 candidates on the ballot. She got less than a quarter of the vote cast, and she went on to win the general because it was a safe district. 1 out of 4. That's all it took to determine who represented that community in the United States Congress. And people are out here talking about their vote doesn't count. No, your vote didn't show up. That's different. Look at cities where turnout in local election runs 12, 15, sometimes 8%. 8% people. City council seats getting decided by 300 votes. School board races getting flipped by 200. Zoning decisions that determine whether your neighborhood gets a grocery store or another liquor store, made by people elected by the fraction of the community. A fraction of the community. You mean to tell me you can't organize your family, your network, your people to outvote a few hundred? That's not powerlessness. That's lack of coordination. See, everybody gets activated for the presidential election. Billions of dollars are spent. The commercials, the debates, the social media, the strategy, that's real. I understand. But here's what they don't tell you in the moment. The president does not control your school. The president does not set your property taxes. The president is not deciding whether your neighborhood gets a rec center or a parking lot. The president is not the one hiring or firing your police chief. That's local government. That's you. City council. That's you. County commission. That's you. School board, district attorney, sheriff, judges. That's you. That's position shapes your daily reality more than any presidential election in most cities. The people running for those seats are winning on turnout numbers that you could flip with one organized church congregation, one organized barbershop network, while y'all are talking about, what was going on with Cardi B or Beyonce. That conversation could change. One organized group chat that got serious and not talking about a party or where the hookah is at. I'm not trying to be rude, but I've seen this, and I'm not trying to exaggerate, but I've seen it. A state legislative race decided by less than 500 votes in a district with tens of thousands of registered voters, tens of thousands of people who choose the couch, and 500 people chose the outcome. Let that sink in real quick. 500 people chose the outcome out of 10,000. Now, let me address the people who say, man, the system is rigged anyway. Okay, say it is. You think the answer to a rigged system is to remove yourself from it completely? That's not resistance. That's surrender with extra steps layered on top of it and laziness. You don't walk away from a rigged card game and think you're winning. You learn the game. You learn who's cheating, how they're cheating, and you build enough leverage to flip the table or change the rules. But you can't flip a table you never sat down at. Let me tell you what politics actually looks like when it works. In 2020, Stacey Abrams didn't just tell people to vote. She built infrastructure, years of it, voter registration, civic education, relationships with county officials, legal strategy. By the time election day came, it wasn't about one speech or one candidate. It was about systems that had been running for years. That's the game, kind of like Diversified Game, my other podcast. And here's the thing about the other side. They don't just vote, they're disciplined. Paul documented it himself in 1996. He watched the Republican leadership strip 2 sitting congressmen of their committee rights, block them from offering amendments, cut their international travel funds, all because they endorsed the wrong candidate in a primary. One of those congressmen looked like the speaker in the eye and said, "For me, this is a matter of consequence." You guys, that doesn't matter. When you belong to this caucus, you leave your conscience behind. That's the machine. That's how organized the other side is. They discipline their own people in public with consequences. Consequences. They do not wait for somebody to go viral. They do not show up only when it's trending. They are in the room when it happened. They want to be in the room when it happened. That's for my Hamilton fans. Every time, whether you were there or not, it's going to happen. Meanwhile, we can't sit outside and on the side and show up on Tuesday. Now, let me bring this to you really, really direct, y'all. This couch feels easy. No lines, no decisions, no stress, no risk of feeling like you made the wrong call. But let me ask you something. When the school in your neighborhood doesn't have enough resources, who made that funding decision? When your community gets over policed or underprotected, who set that policy? When a development comes in and prices your family out of a neighborhood your grandparents live in, who approved that zoning? Somebody decided, somebody voted. Hey, somebody was in the room when it happened. Were you in that conversation or were you on the couch? I can tell you, these mosquitoes in Florida, they don't sit on the couch. Were you on the couch? Because the decision got made whether you were there or not. It always does. The only question is whether you had any say in it. I'm not saying say, I'm telling you who to vote for. You vote for who you want. I'm personally a lifelong independent. That's not my place. And frankly, it's not the point. And I sometimes will jump in on each side as an independent just to kind of stir things up, depending on what state I'm living in. But let me tell you, the point is this: politics, the political participation is leverage, and leverage compounds over time. You vote, you build relationships, you understand who's accountable to who, you learn where the real decisions get made. You organize around shared interests, not just the party. And now you have actual power, not performative power, not social media power, real transitional structural power. But none of that starts if you're not in the game. You cannot negotiate from outside the room. You cannot apply pressure from the couch. So this is what I'm leaving with you. Paul said it in 1980 in public. He built a machine around it, and that machine has been running ever since. The only question is what you're going to build, because the people making decisions in your city, your county, your school district, they are not geniuses. They are not untouchable. They are organized, consistent, and they benefit from your absence. They benefit from your ignorance of how the system works. You have not participated in this system. You have not studied this system where it could be peer reviewed or even reviewed by a professor. You haven't volunteered your time into this system. So let me tell you, class, show up in the regular season every boring Tuesday. Now you can even do it via Zoom. Oh boy. What's your excuse now? You could be at work doing it. Every low profile primary, every school board race nobody's posting about, that's where the real leverage is. The luncheons, some of them even free, some of them cost thousands of dollars. I'm there. Food's okay. But that's where the leverage lives. Because the moment your community becomes predictably present, something changes. You stop being taken for granted. And that is where the real conversation starts. Sitting out isn't neutral. Paul knew it in 1980. Now you know it too. What are you going to do? You might not like the sound of my voice. You might not like how I present this. You might think that I should be in the ivory tower and show you everything that I have so you can think that I am who I'm saying I am. But you can go over to LinkedIn. check out Kellen Coleman. You can go out and see the things that I've done and actually participated. I'm not just talking, and I don't do this for money. I do this so you guys can say, you know what? Somebody told us, so you can't say nobody told us. You guys, I got game like this for days. If there's something that you got a question about, put it in the comments. I like the comments. I like the likes. And you know what I love? I love if you share this game with somebody, because wisdom is at an all-time low. People are just saying things and you guys are taking it because they have millions of views, or they have, a fancy car. You guys, it's about to start raining, I think, out here in South Florida. But you guys, share this game with somebody. It will change their life. Be blessed, y'all.
You've tried it your way and you're still in debt? Or maybe you're doing okay, but want to invest smarter and grow faster? MillionaireX.ai gives you step-by-step strategies to ditch debt or stack wealth. Stop dreaming, start planning. Visit MillionaireX.ai today. I want you to be the next millionaire next door.
Are you tired of the violence, tired of the injustice, police brutality, rampant discrimination, lack of gun control in this failed bio-socioeconomic experiment called America? Or maybe you need a break from the relentless grind and want to regain control of your destiny, your wealth, your health, and your purpose. DiversifiedGame.com has the right course for you. Prepare for my first trip to Africa. Looking to reconnect with your roots, start a new business, or just a fresh start. Africa, aka the motherland, is waiting. Don't let the Chinese and the Mzungus have the fun and also take over the motherland. From Cairo to Mombasa, from Dakar to Cape Town, Africa has something for everyone, from business opportunities to the most amazing people, safety, leisure, and landscapes. The opportunities abound. It is time for the diaspora to reconnect with their roots. Time to reconnect with the birthplace of humanity. Africa is the last frontier. Get your head in the game and reclaim your legacy. The writing is on the wall. Babylon is falling. Give up the stress, grind, and violence inflicted on our people on this continent, and prepare for a journey of restoration and joy by connecting with the land of your ancestors. Check out our new course and kick off your adventure at DiversifiedGame.com.